Dr. Robert Neville is the last known human survivor in New York City after a deadly virus wipes out most of humanity. The virus, initially created as a cure for cancer, was designed to target cancerous cells, but mutated into a deadly pathogen that spread rapidly. The virus killed over 90% of the global population, and those who survived turned into zombie-like creatures known as dark seekers. These creatures are nocturnal, bloodthirsty, and cannot survive in sunlight. Robert, a brilliant scientist and military virologist, is immune to the virus. The movie begins with a flashback showing the creation of the virus. A scientist develops a genetically modified virus to cure cancer, and it initially works on all patients. However, the virus mutates and becomes highly contagious and lethal. We are shown Robert Neville's life before the outbreak. He is a family man, a scientist working on the cutting edge of cancer research. As the virus spreads and the situation worsens, Robert's wife, Zoe, and their daughter, Marley, are evacuated from New York. Robert stays behind to try and find a solution to the crisis. As they attempt to escape the city, their helicopter is shot down, and Robert loses his family. This loss deeply affects him and sets the tone for the rest of his solitary existence. In 2012, 3 years after the outbreak, New York City has been completely abandoned, overrun by nature and wild animals. The streets are empty, the skyscrapers dark, and the city is covered in vines and plants. Robert Neville is the last known human living in the city, and he spends his days following a strict routine to survive. He hunts for food, scavenges supplies from abandoned stores, and broadcasts daily messages on the radio, hoping that other survivors might hear him. His companion throughout this lonely existence is his German shepherd, Sam. The two share a close bond, and Sam is often Robert's only source of comfort and sanity. Every morning, Robert goes out hunting and searching for supplies. He uses his military training to scavenge for food and weapons, always on alert for the dark seekers, who are active at night. At night, Robert retreats to his heavily fortified home. He has built an elaborate system of steel shutters, UV lights, and traps to keep the dark seekers from breaking in. Despite his precautions, Robert is constantly on edge, aware of how dangerous and unpredictable the creatures can be. To maintain his sanity, Robert talks to mannequins he has set up in a video store, pretending they are real people. He watches old movies and listens to recordings of his family, clinging to the memories of the past. One day, while hunting in the city, Robert follows a deer into an abandoned building. Inside, he stumbles upon a dark seeker nest. The creatures are hiding in the dark, but as Robert approaches, they sense his presence. A violent attack ensues, and Robert is barely able to escape with Sam, realizing how much more dangerous the dark seekers have become. The encounter shakes him, and he begins to question his ability to continue surviving alone. Determined to find a cure for the virus, Robert captures a female dark seeker to experiment on. He hopes that by studying the creatures, he might be able to develop a solution to reverse the virus. He injects her with his own immune blood, hoping to test if the virus can be neutralized. However, he is not prepared for the consequences. The alpha male, the leader of the group, shows signs of intelligence and strategy, unlike the other mindless dark seekers. The alpha male carefully watches Robert and demonstrates emotional attachment when the female dark seeker is captured. This encounter serves as a reminder to Robert that the dark seekers are not just mindless monsters. They were once human beings who are now driven by a survival instinct. One day, Robert finds that one of his mannequins has been moved. He is immediately suspicious and begins investigating, only to find that it is a trap set by the dark seekers. While trying to escape, he is injured and night begins to fall. The dark seekers emerge and Robert is attacked by a pack of infected dogs. Sam fights bravely to protect him, but is bitten during the battle. Robert rushes Sam back to his lab, where he tries to save her by injecting her with the experimental serum he developed. But the serum does not work, and Sam begins to transform into a dark seeker. In an emotional moment, Robert is forced to euthanize his beloved dog, ending her suffering. This loss is devastating for Robert, leaving him completely alone in the world. He falls into a deep depression, becoming reckless and suicidal. In a state of despair, Robert continues his dangerous behavior, seeking to confront the dark seekers head-on. However, his fate changes when Anna and Ethan, two survivors, save him from a dangerous encounter. They explain that they heard his radio broadcasts and have been searching for him. Anna, an optimistic woman, tells Robert that she believes in a survivor colony located in Vermont, where immune humans have created a safe community. Robert is skeptical, having lost all hope after years of isolation. He refuses to believe that such a place exists and remains focused on his work to cure the virus. Anna, however, insists that they need his help, and she brings him a glimmer of hope for humanity's future. That night, the Darkseekers, led by the alpha male, attack Robert's home. They break through his defenses, and Robert, Anna, and Ethan are forced to take refuge in the basement lab. In the chaos, Robert realizes that his serum is working. The female Darkseeker he had experimented on is showing signs of recovery, proving that the virus can be cured. With the Darkseekers closing in on them, Robert makes the ultimate sacrifice. He gives Anna the vial of cured blood and instructs her to escape with Ethan. Robert stays behind, setting a grenade to kill the attacking Darkseekers. The explosion kills him, but it ensures that Anna and Ethan will be able to bring the cure to the survivor colony. Anna and Ethan eventually reach the survivor colony in Vermont and deliver the cure to the people there. They realize that Robert's sacrifice has given humanity a second chance. In the closing scene, Anna reflects on how Robert Neville became a legend.